What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Throwdown Your Questions, Leftover Questions Edition. I'm your host, Tony Polanco, and tonight I'm joined by Emilio Lopez.
And Spider-Man, see?
And food.
Yes, and food. Yum.
And Chris Seeley.
I hate Mondays.
Yes, all right. We got the skeleton crew here for, and the New York crew for the special edition of all this leftover shit. Because what happened is it's a special edition of the song about pissing. So yeah, what happened was, we asked you guys to ask us E3 stuff, but some of you didn't read it correctly, and you just asked us normal shit. So we had all these questions left over. It's like threw them all, so we could have a clean slate for Sunday. Big Final Stage Boss, by the way, I noticed that you posted the same questions again, probably because you just, assumed we were going to do them next week. So we're going to answer all that shit this week, so I need you to go back into the comments and post 3 new ones. I know you got plenty of fucking questions for us, as always. All right, no time. Like, I pulled up the wrong shit. Give me a sec here. Manny, what are you eating?
I'm having some rice and some fish. Good
Jossie
stuff.
make that for you?
Yeah, she did.
Awesome. All right, I'm just vamping until I can get this thing open.
Yeah.
By the way, it's supposed it's going to be 103 degrees in New York tomorrow, so that's some like Austin shit right there, right, Chris?
Yo, what the fuck? Really?
Yeah, dude. I was looking at it, I'm like, that's humidity, right? Like, nope. That's
Damn, guys.
Does that mean you're going to get a new air conditioner finally?
Oh, story about that. My air conditioner started to work again. I don't know why. It just started to work again, so fuck it. I saved myself some money.
All I got to say is that's a sign. That starts just randomly not turning on for some reason. That means you're eventually going to have to replace it.
Oh, definitely. It just sucks. I only had this thing for 3 years, and it's already fucking up. Piece of crap. All right, I got my questions here, so let's dive in. The first question is from Seth. This is from a few ago, actually. Okay, if the TV show aspect of Quantum Break sucks, as do most TV shows, should that affect the game's score / perception? This game is fun, but the TV show tie-in blows. I don't think it should affect it. Why would it? They're two separate things.
Well, I mean, the TV show aspect actually is kind of part of the game. Like, so the things that you do in the game affect the little TV show that you have, but it's all on the disc.
Yeah, but I mean, it should all be independent, you know?
It should be, because, I mean, TV shows have to be planned, written, and filmed well in advance, right? So if you're playing the game, and you gotta think that older people are probably gonna watch the show just to see what it is and have nothing to do with the game, right? And vice versa. If I play Quantum Break, I'm most likely going to DVR the show. I'm not going to be paying attention to that shit.
No, but there is no DVR or anything like that. When you buy Quantum Break the game, all that show content is on the disc too.
But how are you going to affect the actual show then?
Yeah,
you affect the show that you watch in between. So essentially, like, they talk about events and stuff on there, so it dynamically happens. Because it's just essentially like you change the cutscenes around.
Really?
Wait, I thought this was on TV like Defiance.
Yeah. That's what I thought too.
Yeah, it's not anything special.
So wait,
it's either you can either watch. I think you can watch. Am I cutting out, by the way?
No, you're fine. You're fine. But here's the thing. But so you get the game, you get the TV show with the game?
Yeah.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Odd. All right, I don't know, but I didn't know that either. But I maintain what I said. They should be independent of each other. It shouldn't matter.
Same, because they can't count on you watching something and then playing the game. Like there's gonna be camps of people that either do one or the other. Like if it's televised, right? And let's say your parents get into it, like, ooh, this Quantum Break show. They're not gonna play the game.
Yeah,
right?
It's not gonna be on TV or anything. If anything, it's from what they said, it's like a part of the game. It's something that you can watch additional to the game. It's on the game disc. So, what things that it's kind of like watching the little Twilight Zone parts in Alan Wake, but like full episode.
Well, I would just consider those cutscenes. I wouldn't even call that a TV show.
Yeah, exactly.
That's like calling the scenes in Metal Gear a TV show, right? I mean, Metal Gear Solid had long enough scenes. Like, I could just be like, that's a TV show, right?
Yeah, exactly. Right, but no, it shouldn't matter. It shouldn't affect it. All right, last question from Seth. Should games be? This is an interesting one. We've talked about this before, kind of. Should game, and it's kind of related to the last one. Should games be reviewed as a whole package or separately? Multiplayer-centric games keep getting great scores with broken multiplayer at launch. Cough. Gears of War 2. Halo Master Chief. Cough. It's a tricky one. Because like me personally, when I review a game, I actually don't take the multiplayer into account. So I guess in a way I'm doing it. But if it's a game like Destiny, you have to take the multiplayer into account because that is the game. Same thing with Titanfall. That's the entire game right there. But when it's something like Dragon Age Inquisition, the multiplayer shouldn't even factor into it. So I guess it would be a case by case basis.
I don't know.
Depending on what type of game it is.
I think at this point, like, either reviews should be split, or I mean, like, obviously if you have a single player only experience, right, you don't have to split it. But I mean, if you look at like Call of Duty Advanced Warfare, the single player was mediocre, right, and it's really the multiplayer that people go for. So and then that game gets brilliant reviews, right? But just on the multiplayer, like if I were to rate the single player, I'm like the story kind of blows.
All right, so do you think the single player should drag it down a little bit?
It should, unless we split it. Like, you should judge the whole game. Just like a game like the Souls game. Like, would somebody give it a bad score because they get invaded a lot and murdered? It's like, I can't play this fucking game because somebody keeps jacking my game and killing me all the time, But that's part of the experience, right? And then they gave you the choice to play it offline, and you could make it a single player experience, but then you lose out on help. Right, so it's kind of weird. Yeah, I guess, I agree on the case-by-case basis.
Yeah, because here's another one, the reverse of that. Tomb Raider, excellent game, like worthy of the 9s and 10s, but the game should have been technically a 6 because that multiplayer was so shitty, Yeah. So in that case, do you really want to drag the score down when the multiplayer is bad, when you're really in it for the single player? Same thing with Uncharted. The single player is fantastic, the multiplayer is so-so. So in that case, I don't think it should drag it down. But if the game is more leaning one side than the other, base it off of that. Don't worry about the other part. I don't know, but it is tricky. Manny, what do you say?
Yeah, I believe it's a case by case basis. I'm not gonna view a Metal Gear game totally based on the online mode that it has. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Really, the meat and potatoes is the actual single player.
Yeah, for at least Metal. Yeah, it's like, what if the new Metal Gear has like an awesome single player, which it probably will, and then the multiplayer's play.
Right. Exactly. So, and then the opposite for games like Battlefield. Battlefield single player is terrible. Like, the story is shit, but the multiplayer is great. And that's all it's rated on.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, that's what it is. It's a case by case basis. It shouldn't be split down the middle because then you get some funky scores, man.
Yeah.
All right. Next question. Phantom Vash. He actually asked us these yesterday, which was Father's Day, so they're kind of related. Who are the best / worst father figures, characters in video games? That's a fun one. I don't think Kratos is going to win any awards. He murdered his entire family.
No.
Yeah, Kratos is probably the worst.
You, honey. Oh no, what have I done?
He's also the worst father figure because as soon as he gets pissed off, what does he want to do? Murder something.
Did you knock over that base? Come here, Calliope.
What about Heihachi?
Yeah, Heihachi throwing his dad, throwing his son.
The worst.
And didn't he throw him into a volcano?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, I think he knocked him in a volcano. So.
Well, also, Kazuya too.
Yeah, Kazuya too.
Kazuya's a dickhole to his son too.
And speaking about going back to Kratos, what about Zeus? He's an asshole.
Yeah, well, he's a well-tread asshole. He's done a lot of asshole-y things to people. Hey, look at you! You have a kid, a demigod. Really?
What about Big Boss?
Any kids like he well, actually no. In the
Yeah,
way the
well,
story,
he was an unwilling father, right?
yeah.
He didn't ask for his
He did
solid
kind of
liquid.
somewhat at least according to Liquid Snake, he was a little bit abusive to him. He's like, he always told me I was weak and I was never good enough. Yeah.
I want to give a special shout out to Octodad. He's a pretty good father.
Oh shit.
I mean, he's not even human, and he loves those kids.
He loves those kids. Are they his kids? I don't know.
No.
Who's the guy in Heavy Rain?
Ethan Mars.
Yeah.
Ethan's a good dad. I mean, he walked around that whole mall, almost got hit by a car. He's good. He tracked down a murderer.
Yeah, he chopped off his finger.
Yeah, well, he was doing a really shitty parenting job when he first did that thing.
Oh well, he lost his kid in the mall. Yeah, but
he lost his kid in the mall, and then
yeah, but he tried to solve a serial killer. So and I guess like he in a way I guess he went that extra.
He redeemed himself.
Yeah.
Come here, son.
And I give good and bad marks to Joel from Last of Us.
Yeah,
I mean, Joel is a good provider, and obviously he's a fucking badass, but he's also a horrible person.
You're a horrible murderer, Joel.
Yeah, and I mean, yeah, he saved Ellie. I mean, spoilers if you haven't played Last of Us.
Come on, get out of here with that.
Yeah, he saves her. Yeah, but he murdered that whole hospital, and then he executed Marlene at the end when she gives the speech. He just fucking capped her, like, fuck this, and he gets out of there. And then he lied to her about it afterwards. He's like, no, they didn't need the surgery. It's fine.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, what about Jacked? What does he count as, for Final Fantasy X? Because he was like an asshole to Titus, and he was also Sin.
Yeah, he was a kind of an asshole.
So
like even bad dad so far.
Even to the point where Jack friggin' Titus didn't even call Jet dad. He just called him Jack.
He's an asshole dad.
Shit, we got to think of some good ones.
Yeah,
good dads.
Yeah, in video games, they're mostly bad dads.
Yeah, they're all horrible examples of fathers. Who is a good father in a game?
I can't think of any.
Other than Octodad.
Well, I mean, father figures. I guess. He was a murderer too, though. Lee from The Walking Dead. Like he helped Clementine.
Yeah, he did help her. I guess he was a good father figure.
Yeah, you could say that. If depending on how you play him, you could play him like a total jerk.
Hey, you know whose father was cool? Ezio's dad.
Yeah, Ezio's dad was cool. He was an assassin.
Yeah, and then worst father figure, what's his face's dad from Assassin's Creed 3? He was an asshole. I liked playing as him.
Oh, you mean Hatham?
Yeah, Hatham. Yeah, he was like cool, but he was also an asshole.
He was probably the most interesting thing about Assassin's Creed 3. I'm sorry, Native American guy. You should have been interesting, but you weren't.
Yes. There's a big, boring brown guy.
Yeah.
All right, that's all I got.
Yeah, I can't think of anything else. Any other awesome dads or horrible dads in games.
Yeah, because you think about a lot of the characters we play either aren't fathers or you don't know who their father is, or
a lot of orphans and stuff in video games.
Well, that's
dad. We don't know. He's not a father either, so I can't say anything about him.
Lara Croft's dad. I don't know.
I don't know. I just know John Voight played him in the movie. The movie sucked.
Hey, you know who's a good father figure? John Marsden.
He
was teaching.
That's a good one, dude. That's a good one. John Marsden, from Red Dead.
A father you actually play as. Yeah, there you go. Because he was doing all that shit for his family. He was trying to redeem himself and stuff.
Mm-hmm. There you go. Best father figure, John Marsden.
There you go. All right.
John Marsden.
Go out and kill to get your family back.
All right. Last question from Fan Vax. This is a good one. Do you think by the end of this generation, Warner Brothers will solidify themselves as one of the top 5 third-party publishers? Out of Activision, EA, Ubisoft, Bethesda, and Square Enix. So far this generation, they have published/developed several great Lego games: Shadow of Mordor, Dying Light, Mortal Kombat, Witcher 3, and Arkham, and Mad Max. Warner Brothers is kind of getting there, man. All these big-ass games and stuff.
Yep.
Definitely, for sure.
Maybe they'll supplant Ubisoft.
Maybe they're gonna have their own conference at E3 one year. Watch.
Yeah.
Well,
they're getting in there.
I mean, you know, it's funny how it all stemmed. It all came from Midway.
That's true.
They bought Midway, and they're just like, all right, we'll keep your Mortal Kombat, but all that other shit.
But it's true. Yeah, they're definitely getting up there. So I think we all agree on that one. Definitely.
Yeah, definitely.
All right. Go ahead.
I mean, I guess there's only a couple missteps. Them trying to capitalize on the Batman games. The ones that weren't made by them.
Everybody on that list is trying to capitalize on nickel and dime us in one way or another. Activision, EA, like the worst fucking examples of that. Ubisoft, and I think Ubisoft is gonna fall if they keep fucking it up and releasing broken games and stuff. I don't see why Warner Bros. Wouldn't just push in there and take their place on that top 5
easily.
Hey, you know that Assassin's Creed? It's ours now.
All right, final stage boss. Got a few questions for you. So remember, final stage boss again. We're gonna answer some of your shit now, so just ask brand new questions again. All right, the first one is, I have an 8-year-old son who loves Skylanders. Hey, final stage boss, he's a good dad.
There you go.
I've counted 52 Skylander toy characters, and I've bought him 52 Skylanders times $15. Each equals $780. That's almost $800 I've given Activision. Damn. My question is, have you ever given one of these companies more money than you ever wanted to for something that is a ripoff?
I actually kind of felt like that with that first Batman.
The Batarang.
Yeah, that Batarang thing from the first Batman game. That thing was a piece of shit. He charged so much money for a plastic piece of crap.
Yeah, my answer would have been Arkham Knight, but that got canceled, so forget about that. I've never really done it. The most is this stupid Assassin's Creed thing you see back there, but that didn't cost too much more money. That thing broke too, piece of crap.
Well, there's mask.
Yeah, the start. Yeah, but I like that mask. But I guess maybe with DLC, because I bought some dumb DLC before. It's like I bought some Street Fighter color things. I'm like, why did I even buy this?
Fucking Capcom.
Yeah, but I've never spent hundreds or whatever on bullshit.
Yeah, I've never. I mean, granted, I did buy a PlayStation 3, and then also bought the special edition of was it Metal Gear Solid 4? I mean 3.
Yes.
Metal Gear Solid 4. Well, I did kind of do something like that, where I kind of made my own bundle, but I knew what I was doing. It's not like it wasn't like, oh shit, I didn't regret it after. The only thing I've ever regretted was that dumb Batarang.
Yeah, I think it was ridiculous. Chris, what about you, man?
Yeah, I've given EA too much money because I kept buying the Dead Space, every limited edition that came out of Dead Space. And it must have had the worst extra I've ever seen in a game. It had, because the Dead Space 2 was supposed to come with a plasma cutter, right? I thought, oh, how awesome is that? It's going to flip around and all this stuff. First of all, the thing was this big. It's meant for a 5-year-old's hand.
Wow.
So I couldn't even get it's like a micro gun. And the little LEDs on it weren't even strong enough to cast a light. I had to go put the gun against the wall to see those little lasers. So that by far is the fucking shittiest thing. I mean, it might be worse than the fucking Batarang.
Wow, dude, that's
just a piece of junk. Yeah.
You know what? Even the bigger kicker was, they actually did of the plasma cutter.
Wait, you cut out there.
Yeah, he cut out.
I said, you know what the kicker is? They did a spot-on one of the plasma cutter, which cost $300 or some shit, and it did everything.
Yeah.
Come on, guys. Seriously.
I wonder if that's going to happen. The Pip-Boy looks legit, though. You could put it on your arm and stuff.
Well, they actually showed you a demo of it, so what it looks like.
Yeah. Oh, real quick to my man Apex. He's going by. You're always changing your name, Apex. Yes, I did try VR headsets. Listen to the last episode of Throwdown Your Questions. We talk about that in detail. Um, Next question by Final Stage Bosses. Okay, to piggyback off my first question, do you think Street Fighter or any other fighting game would make it if they released a game with only 2 fighters but charged $15 for all other characters that came in a physical toy form that had to be put on a portal to fight with like Skylanders? Hell no. That Toy Select bullshit, man. Fuck that. That's only for kids. Like if Street Fighter was a kids game, then yeah, probably it would work. But come on, old school guys are gonna do that shit.
I can't imagine guys walking into Evo with the fucking toys, trying to put it on a. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine like at a fighting tournament and they're putting their little statues on it? That'd be ridiculous. Like I would think I was watching a movie. Like, would somebody write this?
That'd be surreal. Exactly.
Yeah. No, I can't. No, that wouldn't work with anything but a kids game.
Exactly. I don't think we need to go into depth with that one. It wouldn't work. It wouldn't work at all. All right. Okay. Do you think Uncharted 4 was delayed because they needed more time, or do you think it was delayed to make room for the Uncharted Collection, which I'm buying even though I own all 3 games? So whoever don't like it can play Russian roulette until you win.
Oh shit.
I think it was delayed because it needed to be polished. Yeah. To be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think they would push it for just a collection.
Yeah.
I think they pushed it needed more time.
Manny, you were saying something?
Yeah, I say that's what it was. They just wanted to polish it a little bit more. I would say, good. Give us a good game.
Hey, that's it, man. Yeah, because why would you delay something for like a remaster? That makes absolutely no sense.
No, though they did delay the Ratchet and Clank game.
Yes, they did for the movie. A little troubling on that one, by the way, because Anyway.
No, it's actually a pretty smart move.
Is it? No, because usually when you have a game that ties into a movie, we've seen in the past how that works. But in this case,
no. But the thing is that their game is somewhat. It's not. It's not fully based off of the movie. It's like kind of and kind of not.
Yeah, I don't know. I know it's not fully based off the original game.
No, it's the original game plus a bunch of other things too.
Yeah. All right, moving on. We kind of talked about this in the past as well. I saw a lot of indie games that look great, like Cuphead and Beyond Eyes. Do you think more people will give indie games the respect that they deserve now, or do you think that they will continue to say indies don't count? Just like I said before, people are never going to see indie games as like legit. It's a sad thing, but you have guys like I'm not going to name any names, but who will always see indie games as like not counting. Only AAA counts. You're always going to have that mentality. Indie has a stigma. I think the only way to get rid of that stigma is to just call them video games and fuck the whole indie label.
And it's like saying comic books are only superhero books, comics.
Yeah, that's pretty much what it is.
It's only like one portion of a bigger spectrum.
Yeah, but the problem is, what sells the most in comics? Superheroes.
Yeah.
That's why. That's why people assume that. So, the games that sell well, AAA games, nothing but AAA games, but that's not the case.
Well, I mean, officially, one of the biggest selling games is Minecraft, and that was an independent game. So
that's a super independent game. That's true.
There you go. But now it's not independent anymore.
Nope. Microsoft owns that shit.
It got bought up, yeah. But indies have a chance to be very successful, but will they get the acceptance? Like, will they get that respect? I think until, like Tony said, you just call everything blanket video games. That's not. It has that same. It's just like indie comics, right? But even they get a lot of respect. Some of them become like hits. Some of them get optioned for movies,
Yep.
But
look at Scott Pilgrim versus the World.
Yeah, Scott Pilgrim, and I know that new book, Lumberjanes, that got optioned for a movie recently. So, it's like they're legit. They're comic books.
What about Ghost World?
Ghost World, exactly.
Yeah, just call them comic books, just like call them video games. Stop with the indie bullshit. Stop with the AAA bullshit. Just video games. That's it.
And especially when you look being made by those guys that did Devil May Cry. What's their name again?
Oh, Ninja Theory.
Yeah, Ninja Theory. They're calling that like an independent game, and it officially is an independent game because they're developing the game on their own.
Exactly.
Even though they've made AAA games. So what do you call those guys? An independent company? You know?
Yeah, exactly. The labels are just retarded.
Mm-hmm.
Make no sense. More division, and we have enough of that in the games industry.
Mm-hmm.
All right, last question from Final Stage Boss. Okay, publishers are still making the mistake of releasing new and or lesser known games during the holidays to get lost in the shuffle and cannibalized by the heavy hitters. Microsoft said that they have 7 exclusives releasing this holiday season. Is this a mistake to hold everything you have to release during the holidays? Yeah, because, see, I don't understand why they still go with this holiday bullshit. It's like most people that buy video games are adults. Just release them throughout the year. Look at Batman. It's coming out tomorrow, right? It was June 22nd. You think it would have sold better if it came out in the fall? No, it's going to sell well regardless. It's
because people are going to still buy it. Metal Gear Solid 4 came around this time, and it did really good. So,
dude, May is Rockstar month. They always release their games in May, and they sell well because people don't care. So I still say, you guys spread the shit out. Stop releasing everything in the fall. It makes no fucking sense anymore.
It's a weird stigma. I mean, movies have the same stigma too. Think about movie cycles. What are the biggest time for movies? Summer.
Summer,
right?
Yeah.
So everything has to be in the summer. But yet, look at some of the highest grossing movies of all time, like James Cameron movies. When do they release? Winter. December, right? Titanic,
Lord of the Rings.
Right? You know, so it doesn't matter. It's like, if it's good and whatever, people will still want to go see it, especially at a time when nothing else is out. It's like, I'd buy a game in January if it was fucking good. If Batman was coming out in January, I'd buy it anyway.
Dude,
right?
look at Dying Light. That shit came out in January. Everybody bought this shit.
Yeah, exactly. If Konami said Metal Gear was coming out, I don't know, like somewhere around like August, I would buy it. It's coming out in September. Well, fucking pre-ordered it. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, like who's seriously going to go, I love Metal Gear, but it's coming out in August. No, I can't. Like,
if I can't sit at Black Friday and go through a stampede of people and buy it, I ain't buying it. Like, that doesn't make any sense.
It's retarded. So, yeah, it's a mistake. Stop doing that. And then you're right, a lot of cool games. Dude, this happens every fucking year where a lot of cool games get lost in the shuffle and you have to wait till, like, January, February to actually play them because they get like, lost in the shuffle. They need to stop doing that bullshit.
Well, look at the cluster this year. It's like I can't everything I want to buy in coming to the holiday. I can't buy that. Like I pre-ordered Fallout, right? So I got Metal Gear in September, and then Metal Gear and Mad Max come out in the same day.
Yeah.
I can't buy both those games. I can't play both of those games. I'm going to be busy with Metal Gear. So Mad Max is lost, and then what comes out 2 months later? Fallout, right?
It's ridiculous.
And there are these incredibly huge open world games too.
And what comes out the same day as Fallout? Rise of the Tomb Raider.
Yes, man.
See? It's all clustered together. What comes out a week later? Black Ops 3.
Yeah, exactly. So, come on, guys. What the fuck? That's why we have those Game-Mageddons every single time.
And a week before that, Halo 5.
Jeez, man.
So they're all clustered together.
And if they get their shit together, Assassin's Creed, everything comes out, man. It's
Stazione.
All right, so yeah, it's definitely a mistake. They need to stop with that bullshit. All right, next questions. Fern Gully.
The last rainforest.
This dude goes, Caitlin Zink consistently throws out the statement that Forza 6, Halo 5, and Fable Legends will be 1080p FPS locked like we give a crawling blue fuck. If any of those games aren't 1080p 60 frames locked, bitch, what do you foresee occurring in the message boards? The message boards on Coalition have already gotten wild enough as it is. Like, if these games don't live up to being 1080p 60 frames, it's going to be crazier than it already is. Everything's going to be 300 comments.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be wild. They're already wild. They're already out of control. Torrance is saying he's not going to come back to the message board because it's just too much for him. Even Torrance is bowing out. I mean, you guys... Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, what will happen if what if Forza 6 is in 60 frames a second? Like, we give a shit. Like any of us give a shit. Like, we know someone who gives a shit, but what's going to happen? There's either going to be massive denial on the boards, a huge argument's going to blow up. Who fuck knows.
Or he'll be quiet after. Man, other Zinc, where were you during those press events? You were quiet as a mouse. And by the way, I forgot to say this. You said that Microsoft would definitely show Kinect and definitely talk about DirectX 12.
Oh.
Yeah. I need to do something for that. You didn't hear him talk shit, so come on, Playboy.
Yeah, because they don't want to bring down. They didn't want to bring down the show talking about numbers.
Yeah, this dude was so adamant they were gonna show that shit. Nope, no Kinect. They didn't talk about Kinect at all.
But because they said that beforehand. He was in this huge denial, like, oh, they're gonna talk about Kinect. They said it themselves. Kinect is done. We said it.
Done. Yeah, they're done, son. They're done. So yeah, if the game isn't 1080p 60 frames, he's gonna go on some. He's going to try to rationalize it, basically, Fanboys. All right, next question. If the Master Chief Collection released without all the multiplayer modes, similar to what the Uncharted Collection is doing, do you think the game would have sold better? That's
I don't know, because part of Halo, the Halo games, is the
multiplayer.
Yeah, it's a huge part. Uncharted, the biggest draw is the single player and the story. So that if you cut off the multiplayer, I don't think 95% of Uncharted fans would care.
Yeah, exactly.
But, yeah, if you cut out the multiplayer of the Halo, like the Halo guys would have lost their fucking minds.
That game, that game was doomed to be, I guess, under controversy. You release it without multiplayer, people are going to be pissed that there's some multiplayer, and then you get what actually happened in real life. They released a multiplayer, and it was a clusterfuck.
I have to say that it was ambitious of them to say that all the multiplayers for each one of those games works.
Yeah. Yeah, I think they bit off more than they could chew, and it's apparent because the shit wasn't working.
Probably works now.
I haven't tried it in a long time.
Since they called up Patches O'Houlihan.
Shit. Oh, we have to stop the show right now. Throw down your questions. The last episode we did, which was literally last night, it's been up for 22 hours and it already has 178 views.
Oh, very nice.
And Throw Down Your Questions never get, if they reach 100, that's pretty good. Damn.
That's because we said the magic word E3.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, guys. Right, moving on. The last question by Ferngully. With the news of 343 knocking off stuff like local co-op multiplayer split screen just to keep 60 frames a second, a feature used by the masses who play with their kids, etc. What message? Hold on, I'm about to crack up. What message might this send to the lead, Acumen and company? And will this be remembered and brought up down the road when we decide to bash other systems to death for not having 60 frames per second? I ask because there are turbulent times on these message boards. People are taking their personal frustrations out on systems, and people with plaid shirts calling to account those who are hiding things and lying. Surely we can't gloss over this for the fear of our family's security and jobs. The Acumen is all seeing, mate. So I guess he's trying to say, should game companies sacrifice certain features just to get 60 frames a second? No, they shouldn't, because 60 frames doesn't fucking matter.
No, yeah, it doesn't matter. Just because the split screen co-op doesn't run exactly at 60 frames a second, it's never been like that. I mean, if you've ever played Resident Evil, on split screen, friggin' with the small tiny boxes they give you to, all that stuff, and it didn't run in the same frame rate as a real game, didn't disturb to me, it didn't bug my experience.
Yeah, exactly. It's ridiculous. I know some games are kind of nicer, 60 frames, like racing games or fighting games, but it's not necessary. 30 frames locked, you're good.
Yeah, I don't think you should sacrifice features just to get a frame rate. Absolutely not. How can you sacrifice content just to say, oh, we have this high frame rate? It's so what? There's less game, right?
Yeah.
How's that a better thing? Right? I'll take the lower frame rate to have more game and more stuff to do.
Exactly. Silliness. All right, moving on. This one I like. Niv, new guy. With the cramped holiday, any predictions on which title's getting delayed over till next year? Thank you from South Africa, and thank you,
nice.
all of you guys, man. Fucking awesome. Okay, so
yes.
Let us predict what games do you think will be delayed until next year? Wouldn't it be funny if Halo gets delayed till next year?
It's a possibility.
That might break the lead acumen.
I'm gonna actually go on a limb here and say no games are gonna get delayed this year. I think this year they got their shit
that's
together.
some shots fired right there.
I'm saying it. No games gonna get delayed.
No games. I'll say the big ones we're expecting won't get delayed. I'd say that Microsoft has to release Halo 5. I think 343 won't fucking sleep until October. Like, they'll make that happen.
Microsoft, the big Microsoft men will be like, "You get that game out there now."
Yeah, don't sleep. Just fucking do it.
They want their Halo.
Fallout will happen in whatever state it's in. It will come. I don't see Tomb Raider getting delayed, so it's come out on time. The only thing I can think of that's slated for around the holiday that doesn't have a release date yet that might get delayed probably is Star Fox Zero. Oh, yeah. I would say that has a chance of getting delayed.
I'm going to go with that one. And
yeah,
out of the big ones, even though I don't think it will be delayed, I think the one that has the highest chance of being delayed is Fallout. Because that says fall, right? But they do have a... Oh, no, never mind.
Yeah, it's November 10th. Yeah.
I'll take it back. I thought it was just November, like, random. Okay, never mind. That'll come out. Yeah, Star Fox. That'll probably be it. I'm pretty sure there's probably going to be some...
Assassin's Creed. That might...
I don't think that... Delayed. No. They'll release that thing broken, just like they did the last...
Oh, no. That's when Warner Brothers takes the Covenant spot. That's it. That'll be the last straw for people, man. Like Unity, and then fucking this one, Syndicate. Oh shit!
Syndicate, yeah, it's done. Ubisoft will kill themselves, man.
Yeah, no way.
Man, any games?
Any delays? Oh wow. I don't know. I can't think of anything that's looking like it might be delayed. I would say probably one of the candidates would be Halo.
That would be interesting if that does get delayed. The acumen would explode.
Well, I mean, the thing is that delays aren't bad things. They just mean that they're just spending more time to get a game. Why are people getting all up in arms if these games don't come out on time? Fuck, guys.
Yeah, you should care about the good game, not the game coming out. Yeah.
Number one was like, back when we were kids, when we were younger, we didn't know when fucking games came out.
Yeah, they just came out.
You walked into Toys R Us and went, "What's this?"
Yeah, I mean, like in the video game magazines, you'd read them and they'd be like, "Yeah, it's coming sometime." They don't even give you a fucking date.
Yeah, exactly. People have so much ahead of time. I remember when we used to get the Sears catalog, right, for the holidays, right? Yeah. You're looking there to see what games were out, right? Yeah. And like, I want that game. I want Rad Racer. It's in the catalog.
Yeah. All right. Again, thank you to South Africa and Niv. Very awesome. Keep on asking us questions. All right. And I'm not going to apologize for that because I
have a question. What do they think of Chappie?
Yeah, I was going to say no because remember when I made that comment? I was like, oh, I thought Chappie was a post-apocalyptic movie. And I was like, oh no, that's just what South Africa looks like.
Well, not all of it. It's just that area looks like that. It's pretty messed up over there. But
we could make Chappie here. Just film it in Detroit.
Yeah, that's also true. And I hope you guys recovered from the Hulk versus Iron Man fight. That was very brutal. All right. Last questions here from GZDR Forever All Games. When fans say Microsoft will win holiday 2015, what do they mean? Console sales or total amount of game sales from first and third parties? I think most of the time they talk about console sales, but because most people don't bring up sales, you know what I mean? So I think that's what I think it is. I think they mean console sales, like this. Microsoft sold X amount, Sony sold X amount. Who won? Shit like that. So what do you guys think it is?
It's stupid. I think you're right. I think they think it's console sales.
I think it's console sales.
Right.
And it'll just be the dick measuring contest for the holidays.
Basically. All right. Oh man, this is why I wish Brian was here. Did you or anyone on Throwdown get a chance to play Hatred What are your thoughts? Brian has actually played the game. I haven't. I don't know if you guys have.
No, I didn't play it.
Guys, stay tuned for the our next the normal Throwdown show. Maybe we can get him to Brian to talk a little bit about Hatred.
Yeah, because I know he's supposed to review it for us, so he'll probably talk about it. All right. The last question from this dude. Okay, this is fun. Dragon Quest, Persona 5, Disgaea 5, Uncharted Collection versus Halo 5, Forza 6, Fable, and Gears Collection. Which sells more games? That's an interesting one. I think Halo 5 alone will probably outsell all those put together. Let's just be honest.
Yeah, I'd agree. I think on the Microsoft side, especially with Halo 5.
That's like asking who will win in a fight, the Avengers or Justice League? Superman. That's who will win.
And plus, with Dragon's Quest, that's not even a full Dragon's Quest. It's like a Dynasty Warriors game. Persona 5 is a very niche type of RPG. So is Disgaea. It's tactical RPG. It has a very loyal but small following, right? Not really huge. And Uncharted is probably going to be the best selling out of that side, the Uncharted collection. But that's not going to top a new Halo and plus Fable and Gears. Probably a lot of people will buy Gears. So.
Yeah, so there's your answer. Halo is going to outdo them all. By the way, since we kind of ran through this faster than I thought, because we're New Yorkers, we get through shit quick.
We do that.
Let's get to Charles's questions. He actually had a few of them. Let's knock them all. Let's knock them all out right now.
Knock them out the box, Lou. Knock them out.
Okay, this is a fun one. Okay, hit Charles Singletary, obviously. Okay, Hideo Kojima is offered these 4 jobs exclusively, and you could only choose one. Sony for Metal Gear, Microsoft for Zone of the Enders, Nintendo for Silent Hill, PC for Policenauts. You know my answer, guys. Metal Gear on Sony.
I think that's all of our answers. I think that's a no-brainer for me. It's Metal Gear.
Yeah, Metal Gear, dude. Come on now. All right, next question. This is funny. Why are remasters so successful? Why do I feel a murderous rage whenever they're announced? They're successful because people like old games, man, and they don't like pretty old games.
And then the other thing is that you have a whole cast of people, people who just joined on, just started using PlayStations who may have never played these games before.
Fun fact: 40% of people who own PlayStation 4s never owned a PlayStation system ever. There you go. So
40%.
40%. That's a lot. So think about it like this. You people be like, oh, I played Last of Us last year. Fuck that. It's like they've never played Last of Us. They've never played God of War. They've never played Tomb Raider. Well, not Tomb Raider, but what I mean. They never played these games. They never played Uncharted.
So, well, they probably never played God of War 3, but they probably played the God of War 2.
Yeah, but
right. Yeah, if you only played one game and now you're gonna get a collection with all the games, right, together, all HD'd up and stuff. That's a good incentive to get in and play all of them, right?
Yeah, here's the thing. I know people don't like remasters because they feel they're taken away from newer games. My thing is video games don't have the equivalent of a library, like a historical document. This is a good way of keeping games alive for the newer generation because unlike with books, you can still read the Odyssey. The technology hasn't changed for that. With video games, shit does change all the time. So you need to update them to keep things fresh and let people know where the roots of it all come from. So yeah, that's why some people like old games, man.
Is Charles upset about the rare replay that Microsoft's going to put out? Because those are a whole bunch of old games, classic games from going back N64, even older, right?
You know what I called that collection before they announced the new game after? Of it's the Remember When Rare used to make games collection.
I would love Phil Spencer to hold it up. Hey Nintendo, remember when you had these games?
All right. Next question, and it's kind of related to the other one. Speaking of, does it feel dirty that Sony has turned backwards compatibility failure into an outright fucking business model now? Was this planned? I don't think it's dirty, but I don't think it's planned either. I think this is exactly what happened because the very first remaster from last gen was or high profile one was Sly Cooper. I think Sony was like, whoa, people are buying this shit keep it going, just keep it going. Because the thing is with these companies, once they start making money and they see what makes them money, they're going to keep churning it out, you know?
Yeah, until people stop buying them.
Yeah, and the thing is, you can't feel dirty about it because if people want to buy them, why begrudge them that, you know?
Mm-hmm. I think last gen it was planned because remember early PS3s had backwards compatibility, and that was removed later on, and they didn't anymore. And then they started releasing PlayStation 2 games on PSN, right?
Yeah.
Like so people were rebuying old games. I think that was planned. Like they just didn't want to throw the hardware in the systems anymore to cut costs. And at the same time, we're like, wait a minute, we could sell people these old games, and they can play them, right? So it was like win-win. I don't know if they plan that now with PS Now versus backwards compatibility not bothering. I don't know, but I think last gen it was definitely a plan.
Interesting. All right, I'm gonna go with not a plan, but you make a strong argument, my friend. All right, this is a really good question. Will the RTS genre ever make its way successfully to consoles, or will PC forever reign supreme in this regard? I think
Command and Conquer used to be the king of the consoles.
Kind of. I played Command and Conquer on consoles, but the thing is, you can't do as much as you can on PC. So I'm gonna go with no. It never will be. You need a mouse and keyboard to properly play an RTS game.
And not to mention, most gamers don't want to deal with RTS stuff. Remember
console gamers.
Yeah, most console gamers don't want to deal with that. Remember Brutal Legend when that came out, and then everybody found out it was an RTS.
Yeah, people got pissed. So you know what? I'm glad you bring that up because here's the thing: console gamers are a very different type of breed than PC gamers. PC gamers, they like just sitting down and just being meticulous about things. Console gamers, they want that instant satisfaction. RTS games don't provide you that, and couple that with the interface is just better on a PC. So while you're probably still going to see some RTS games make it to consoles, for the most part, they're going to be the domain of PC.
It's if anything, you'd find out. That's why I said Command and Conquer. That's probably the lighter of the RTS type of games.
Yeah, like I know they had Civilization or whatever. On consoles and stuff. That was pretty light. It worked, and then they tried to do it with the Halo Wars, but that didn't take off.
No. Halo Wars.
Yeah, Chris, have you got some thoughts on this?
Well, no, I played Halo Wars, and I mean it was good. It was definitely made to be used by a controller, but to get that full RTS feel where you can like hot map your squads and all this stuff, like you need a keyboard, like just like StarCraft. Like I used to play StarCraft all the time, and I had all these mappings and all this shit going on. Like you just can't do that with a controller. You wouldn't be fast enough to get frustrating.
Exactly.
So I think we're all in agreement.
Yeah, pretty much. All right, the next one. Oh boy, here we go. Was Nintendo smart in shunning hardcore gamers and focusing on their core audience? On the one hand, yes, because their core audience will always be there no matter what. But on the other hand, no, because they're literally missing out on 90% of like everybody else. The Nintendo fan base is a very small segment of gaming, and okay, overall, the actual answer is no, they were not smart in doing that. But they were smart in the regard. I'm just giving them a little credit that they are focusing on their fans. But even now, it seems they're not even giving the fans what they want anyway. So, yeah, Nintendo's just fucking up.
Because Nintendo still holds on to that. Oh well, you play the way we want you to play, as opposed to like instead of like what most game companies are saying. It's like, well, we have these things open so we can listen to you and figure out what we want, what you want in a game. Microsoft was saying it, Sony was saying it, even EA was fucking saying it.
Yeah, we're Pele.
So,
Chris, I know you got some thoughts on this.
Yeah, Nintendo for years now has not focused on either the hardcore audience or their core audience because, I mean, evidence with games like Wii Fit and Wii Music, those were that was their whole Blue Ocean strategy to quote unquote make more people gamers, right? So they weren't focusing on hardcore, and they were kind of taking their core audience for granted and trying to build a bigger audience, right? And that all fell apart with the Wii U because all these people lapsed. Like all these moms and stuff that bought Wii, they're not going to get into Super Mario Galaxy and all this stuff, so they all lapsed. That all fell apart. And then they went back and then they started super focusing on their core audience, right? And then, but they still had this kind of twisted idea, like they don't listen to what the market does. They don't listen to what Microsoft does. They don't see the innovations that Sony's making. They don't pay attention to any of that. And they kind of had their own idea of what people wanted, which has now become so twisted that you saw this E3, you saw what they made. It's like, oh, you guys wanted Metroid. Here's a Metroid, and everybody went, what the fuck is this? You know? It's like, oh, you guys are buying Amiibos, so we'll just make 50 more Amiibos. And it's like, no, people want games, guys.
You want that Ryu Amiibo.
Yeah, it's like, no, they want games. And it's like, oh, you want an Animal Crossing? Well, here's a party game. And it's like, the fuck? It's just, and they actually got insulted when people were upset and making petitions and writing on their Facebook, like, there was actually butthurt, like Reggie sounded butthurt when he's like, you don't understand what we're trying to do. And it's like, no, it's the opposite. So, like, these are the people giving you money. You have to understand what like your audience wants. You don't understand that anymore.
Yeah, exactly. They have their heads so far up their asses, man.
So were they stupid for shunning gamers? Yes, any company is stupid for shunning any type of gamer, right? And Nintendo used to have hardcore games, like, I guess up until Wii. Like, I mean, even the Wii had some hardcore games that the third parties made. I mean, Manhunt 2 was made for the Wii, and they had some shots at it. Like GameCube had even more stuff, but as time's gone on, now they're just the kid friendly. Like that whole E3, I didn't see anything in there that could be even considered getting above a teen rating. You know?
Yeah, it's all kiddie stuff now. And guys like us are like, who the fuck cares? They lost us, man. Fucking ridiculous. All right, last question. Do people realize the Kinect versus PlayStation Eye argument is damn near the most useless discussion in discussion world? It's pretty stupid. It's pretty dumb.
In no way does the PlayStation Eye or the new PlayStation Eye claim that it is as advanced as the Xbox Kinect. You know?
Yeah, the only thing the PlayStation Eye has over the Kinect is that, you know, it's selling more. That's literally the only thing. Technologically wise, it's not. Come on, the Kinect can do all this other shit. The PlayStation Eye can only just look at you. You know.
The PlayStation Eye does what it needs to do. It looks at you. You can do all the silly voice command things, but nobody wants to do that. Most people are buying it for their streaming videos and stuff like that. They're not buying it to play fucking games with.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, the argument is fucking ridiculous. I agree with that. I guess we're in consensus there too.
There was no question. There's no question that the Kinect is more advanced. It's just the fact that they tried to turn it into this part like a part of the system which it really didn't need.
Yeah, the PlayStation Eye is completely 100% optional. You have to buy it to add it to your system. You don't need it to do anything.
Yeah, exactly. Kinect is optional now.
Yeah,
but it wasn't optional back then.
There's a lot of things that Microsoft said back then that they weren't going to do. Backwards compatibility. The fact that you couldn't function without a Kinect, and
Yeah, the Xbox 180, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right. That's it. Okay, so let's wrap it up. Some stuff we're gonna have a fan, listener, whatever you want to call them, on this week. You will find out who. That'll be fun, Okay. Oh yeah, no Otanime this week. We're gonna have Otanime next week.
Yes, because we couldn't get the full team together, and we usually like to have everybody on the show.
Yeah, and remember, if you want to join in on discussion, we're talking about Gunbuster and Bakano.
Yep.
Two shows I need to get on because I haven't had time because E3. All right.
Should have watched them on the plane over, man.
That's it. They don't have them, as part of the options, unfortunately. And my PS Vita doesn't have that much memory in it, man. That would have been perfect. All right. Thank you for watching and listening. Make sure to follow the Coalition at thecoalition.com. Subscribe to Throwdown on SoundCloud, iTunes, and YouTube. Don't forget to follow us on Facebook and on Twitter at Throwdown Show. Links are available in the description below. Once again, our show is Tony Polanco and tonight joined by Emilio Lopez.
Do you bleed?
You will. And Chris Seeley.
Hey, good night, everyone.
All right, guys. Later.
Peace.